like every young woman, you go through changes. And in high school, I definitely my body started to change. I started to gain weight. I didn't exactly fit the mold of what, a surfer girl looked like at the time. And so that was hard, unintentionally seeing and being comparing myself to other people. My dad was actually the one who encouraged me from that time to really just be open and own my story. And by being vulnerable, I found so much comfort in other people sharing their own stories.
Aloha, I'm Ashley Nagaoka. I'm an anchor at Hawaiʻi News Now, and it is an honor to be working today with the University of Hawaii's Better Tomorrow Speaker Series, where I get to talk story with Carissa Moore. Now, at just 32 years old, Carissa is a surfing legend and a global icon. Her journey started right here on Oahu. She began surfing at a very young age with her dad in Waikiki. She quickly went on to dominate junior surf competitions, and at the age of 18, she won her very first world title. Now, sitting here today, she is a 5-time world champ. She is an Olympic gold medalist. She is the founder of the More Aloha Foundation, and probably the most special title of all, she is a new mom. Now, Carissa is no doubt one of the greatest competitors surfing has ever seen. And today, she will be giving the spring commencement speech this year here at UH Manoa. So we want to welcome her now. Carissa, thank you so much for being here and taking the time. I'm sure life right now is so crazy, but so beautiful too.
Oh my gosh, it's like what everyone says. It's hard work, but it's so rewarding, and it's the best job I've ever gotten. So yeah, no, thank you so much for having me and for that beautiful introduction.
Of course. I mean, that's just touching the surface of your journey. On top of all your accomplishments, you're just such a wonderful person and so grounded and, relatable. And that's what we love about you here in Hawaii. We're so proud of you for everything you've done. Just doing some research for today, I came across, you did a love letter to surfing when you talked about your departure from the tour. It was so honest and so open and moving, and I just want to know, what gave you the courage to kind of take that leap, to kind of leave this life you've known behind and start something new?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, you hit it right on the head. It's one of the biggest decisions I've made in my life up until that point, leaving something that I've always known that felt very comfortable in a way and has been such a big part of my identity as being a competitive surfer. But I just had this calling in my heart that it was time to pivot, and it was time to evolve and challenge myself in a new way. And family and starting a family has always been super important to me and my husband Luke, and so I was like, hey, it's time to make that a priority and give us a chance and give us some time and space to do that. And for me, it wasn't this is the end of my surfing career. It's just a pause, and let's just see what else is out there for a second. And I don't know, I think too, I look at life and there's going to be it's constant transition. There's constant, you get to some place and then you get comfortable and then you're like, okay, it's time to level up. And so it was just that time. And I'm still kind of in it. I'm still in the trenches, a little bit lost and figuring it out as a new mom, but I'm finding my feet again slowly, and I'm back in the water, which feels great. And yeah, I don't know what the future holds, but it feels great to have a little Minnie and my husband behind me, and I'm having a lot of fun. And I'm grateful to grow up in Hawaii, where I really feel like the aloha spirit and the way of life here has inspired me and given me the courage to take that leap.
Right. What were some of your biggest fears with leaving the tour?
Oh my goodness. Well, I think there was a lot of fears. I think one of the biggest ones was, what is everyone gonna think? Is this the right decision? And I think being still at the top of the sport and still feeling like I had more to give, is it too early? Will I regret this decision? And then also just for myself, just not knowing what's next, I think is really scary. And I love having control. I love having a plan. And so it's really just letting go of the reins and being okay with surrendering to like whatever comes your way. And so I think just the fear of like disappointing people and just not knowing, and knowing if I'm going to be okay. Will my sponsors still show up for me? Will people still back me? You know, even if I'm not on the tour, will I still have people that want to follow me and care about me? So yeah, just all those different kinds of questions.
Yeah, and I know now you probably realize like it was probably the right decision at the time looking back, right? Because you have this beautiful baby. People love this new version of you, this mom version of Carissa. It's so awesome to watch you on social media, like on your bike with your baby. It's wonderful. It's refreshing.
No, thank you so much. Well, I mean, I hope it's just, you know, in just a very honest, vulnerable, genuine, authentic way. I hope it just inspires anyone to know like, hey, like growing up and evolving is just a part of it. Like you don't have to like be afraid of holding on to one version of yourself. Like it's so beautiful. I look back and I'm like, yes, at times I get very sad. Like life is not the same. But how cool that that chapter was so good that I do miss it. But this moment is everything I've dreamed of and more. And you know, I'm just trying to live in the moment and be as present as possible. And it really, like when you have a kid, it makes all the worries like disappear, and you really do. You're like, this is what life's about, yes. Is like raising another human, bringing life into the world, and like having a family of my own, and all the other stuff is just like, yeah, it puts it into perspective for sure.
It does. Yeah, and you know, they call this the fourth trimester,
yes.
Right? It really is. It's no joke. It's probably the hardest one. But how are you navigating it? How are you trying to find this balance between old Carissa and this new version of yourself?
Oh my gosh, fourth trimester is real. Like, I mean, it's these last, like, she's 9 weeks today, or like this week. And so I'm still like within that trimester, and the learning curve is so steep, just especially like you give birth and then they're like, okay, here, now take her home and like keep her alive and like figure out breastfeeding. There's no formula for that. You know, there's no like manual of like how to do it. You just have to like figure it out and figure out those like late night cries and all that kind of stuff. But it's going well. I mean, I'm at least sleeping again, which is awesome. I am very, very grateful to have such a supportive and present partner and husband, and he's wanted to be a dad for like ever. So this is his dream come true, and he's been amazing. I don't know how I would do it without him, but and luckily Olena she participates, so she's not a monster. She's a good kid. She's a good kid. So she's making it as easy as possible on us through this transition. But yeah, I think for me it's been such a reflective and important time for me, because I'm really getting a mirror on myself and how much I like really feel like sometimes I need to keep doing stuff. I need to keep creating and progressing, and having a baby is like, no, like you have to slow down. Like she's the most important. So if like we were driving down to the beach yesterday and it was horrible traffic and all I wanted to do was get in the water, and Olena's crying in the back, and I'm like, okay, we can do this. And I've tried all the things, and I'm like, you know, I'm gonna pull over. So we pulled over and she had a full blowout. Yep. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, you know what? Even if it took me an hour to get to the beach, like she's the most important, and we eventually got there. But it's teaching me to like, hey, slow down, listen to the cues, listen to the world around me a little bit more, and not to force things, and that it will work out. It will all be okay at the end of the day, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And how much is your family support so important during this time? I think that's another, you know, thing about living in Hawaii that we're so lucky to have, is just like kind of like a built-in village almost, right?
So fortunate. Like I'm really, really grateful that all of my family, so like my mom, my dad, Luke's parents, all live within like a very small radius. And so even this morning I got to come because Grammy drove over at 7:15 and like I passed the baton. I passed Olena over and she was like, yes, please, I would love to watch her. So it's nice to have that village. It really does take a village. I mean, even when I got to the beach yesterday, I was like so frantic and I needed to park the car and she was crying. And one of the uncles that I've grown up with, I was like, Uncle, Pat, can you please hold her for me while I park the car? And he's like, sure. He's stripped off his wetsuit and just held her. And I was like, that's what it's about. And it's really cool because family does really go beyond blood here. And I've really felt that even growing up as a young girl.
Absolutely. All right, switching gears a little bit. So you're going to be giving the commencement speech at UH Manoa.
Yeah.
These speeches are, the speakers usually talk about, life experiences. They try to pass on wisdom. What is your message going to be to the students? And I'm sure there are a lot of parallels, right, between surfing and life.
Yeah, I'm in the midst of writing my speech right now. I'm super honored and flattered to be asked to do the commencement speech. That's a big deal. And I'm just going to be completely honest. Public speaking scares me, especially with a crowd that big and in an environment that is going to be new and different for me. Like, I think I heard there's going to be some echo in the stadium, so I have to really just like embrace it and try to settle in and figure it out. But no, like you said, there are so many beautiful parallels between surfing and the ocean and life, and this whole idea of like the intangible and having to let go and surrender and go with the flow. And I think there's a lot I hopefully can share and be insightful with, and even just with, the transitions that I've gone through in the last year and a half, and being like, hey, like, don't be afraid to take that leap. If something's calling you, like, don't feel like you need to be stuck on one path because that's what everyone else expects of you. Like, go for it, because in the end, you'll look back and be like, you're so glad that you did instead of not trying at all. So, there's only 10 minutes, so I got to really figure out what those special points are, what will help to resonate in that moment with the graduates.
Yeah. There's a lot you could teach a lot of people, so I'm very excited to see what that's going to be.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what is life like on the world tour? Like, between training and traveling, and I'm sure you do PR and press, like, what does that look like?
It's a lot of fun. I mean, the best part is surfing these spots, the best spots in the world, with only like one other woman in the water. Mm-hmm. That's the best part. But a majority of the days that we compete aren't perfect. Like, there's a lot of days that there's a lot of wind or current, and the conditions are less than ideal. So sometimes, you still have to find the passion and enthusiasm and get out there like anyone has to do for their job. But getting to travel and like meet new people and experience cultures and eat good food and try different restaurants, that's like so much fun. And yes, there is like the not so glamorous side too of like, okay, I'm sleeping on an airport floor and like carrying a big, huge board bag around everywhere, and it's exhausting and you're sweaty, but like, it's so fun, the spontaneity of it all, and getting to pursue a goal and like work towards something every day was so, I don't know, it filled my soul. Like, that idea of like, okay, that's my long-term goal, and every day I'm going to chip away at it. And the women on tour, honestly, they're really rad. They're awesome women. And, I really felt like I was surrounded by quality human beings every day that really pushed me and brought a better version of myself out. So getting to do that, then also share all those experiences with my husband. And, I hope to travel one day with our daughter and get to show her all those places that we went.
So it was a supportive environment among the female competitors, even if you are competitors?
Yes. I think, in the beginning, I approached it a certain way that was maybe a little bit more competitive and isolating. And then I found that that can be very isolating and lead to burnout. Like, what really filled my heart was the sense of community, which I think has, I was really inspired by growing up here in Hawaii and having friendships. You don't want to be alone, when you're on the road. Like, what makes me feel at home is those friendships and that family, and a lot of the women are awesome. And it's just finding that way, I think, over my later years, was finding that balance between, okay, like, let's go have a coffee and cruise and talk, and there's so much to relate because we're going through the same things, but then put on that competitive hat when the horn blows, and then being able to separate it, whether you win or lose, and be happy for the other person because they're chasing that same dream and putting in that same amount of effort, So, no, they're all awesome and super inspiring individuals.
How has women's surfing kind of changed since you got into like now? Has it come leaps and bounds?
Leaps
Oh,
and
good.
bounds. It's really cool. I mean, not only in surfing, but I just think women's sports in general right now is just really elevating. And I think everyone's just realizing that when you give women the platform and the opportunity, they will rise to the occasion. And we've really seen that in my time on the tour. You know, we started off with, like, there was a huge, like, discrepancy in like pay, in the types of waves we were surfing, the conditions. Like, most of the time when I first started out, we were thrown out in the worst conditions, and we were like just kind of the sideshow. Whereas like now I think that we are right up there, and sometimes the women even take the spotlight, because I think the trajectory of change and progress has been so steep over the last few years. It's like, wow, like it's not just one or two girls that are shining. It's everybody's lifting each other up. You see one performance and then another girl's like, wait, okay, if she can do it, I can do it too. And I think also just in waves of consequence, like you weren't seeing women charging big 6 to 8 foot pipeline, like, or doing maneuvers above the lip, like, and air reverses. That was usually just something that the guys did, but now the whole field is doing it, and it's so cool.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's cool to experience and watch. Yeah. So you were talking about like going and traveling to all these different places. So how do you train for these different waves that I'm sure are very different in its own right, without like surfing it all the time? Like, how do you train for that?
I think, you know, the best thing, there's so much that goes into being a professional athlete. I mean, as you know, you did volleyball and track in high school, and it's just, you have the part where surfing, you got to be in the water and spend as much time in the water. And I think what's so beautiful is that the ocean is one. And so wherever you are, even if I'm here or halfway around the world, there's that like that knowing of like, okay, this feels similar. This kind of wave looks, I've seen this type of wave come in before. So water time is obviously so important. I think I mean, I work with a sports psychologist, so wrapping my head around like, you know, how I'm gonna compete and visualizing before I even get there, watching video, and just like getting there a little bit ahead of time. I work with specialty coaches that actually come from that area, who have spent their whole life, you know, surfing that spot. So instead of having to, you know, start from the ground up, I'm kind of starting from a 3-foot building, right? Off of their knowledge and their wisdom. And so I think those are just like kind of some of the tools that I have leaned on in the past. And it's not, you know, there's no like manual. And I think that's what's beautiful, is just you kind of have to be ready to adapt to these spots. But yeah.
That's really interesting, because, you know, when we see competitions, we see you out there. We don't realize there's a whole team of people behind you. A sports psychologist, that's very interesting.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think surfers are not like, definitely not what you used to think they were, where they would just like show up and take their board out and paddle out, you know? It's a very serious career. Like, these athletes are training, cross-training, spending time in the water, in the gym. They have nutritionists, they have specialty coaches for where they go. You know, I've been very fortunate to be a part of the Red Bull brand since I was 16, so like half of my life. And they have an incredible performance program, and they have a beautiful performance center in Santa Monica where athletes can go and like really train and hone in on their body and their different types of muscles. And I've done blood tests to really understand, okay, like what kind of foods will help fuel me to perform my best. So yeah, it's like, it's full on these days, especially with surfing being a part of the Olympics. It's really just kind of taking it to that next level where we're all taking it really seriously.
What was training for the Olympics like compared to like the World Tour? Is it different, or is it very much the same?
I think similar but different. It's similar in the way like it is just another surf contest, but different, and it only happens every 4 years. And you know, Tokyo and Paris, which was held in Tahiti, were completely different venues. So when I won in 2020, 2021, the wave was a beach break. So it was all over the place. It wasn't coming in at a consistent spot, where and the wave itself was a little bit mushy and had less power. Where last year at the Olympics in Tahiti, the wave is this huge wave that just doubles over on itself on a very shallow reef. It comes in one spot. So I think, when I was training for Japan, it was like, okay, I'm going to try to find those waves that are as similar to that wave here on Oahu. So I was surfing like Diamond Head and Sandies and these different waves and different equipment to suit that wave. Completely on the opposite for Tahiti.
Right.
So yeah, I think a wave that probably is the closest to what we surfed in Tahiti last year was Pipeline. So I surfed a lot more of that to prepare.
Was your win at the Olympics, how do you compare that to like winning a world title? Was that extra special or just as special?
In the moment, I didn't realize how special it was. Like years removed, I look back and I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah.
That was a moment in time, not just for myself, but it felt so good to be able to represent Hawaii's sport, Hawaii's legacy, Duke Kahanamoku's legacy, and kind of bring it full circle, bring it home. Feel like I was surfing for something bigger than myself. To have it be the first time surfing was in the Olympics. I'm so proud to be a part of that time. And the Olympics is like, that's what every athlete kind of dreams of. I think that's like the epitome of sport, So, I guess I didn't realize how special it was until kind of now. Like it took a while to sink in.
Yeah, to have a Native Hawaiian win the first gold medal in surfing at the Olympics, I mean, that is just
thank you.
Storybook ending. And there's a mural. Have you seen the mural of you and Duke? What is it like to be just like in his the same sentence? You deserve to be there, obviously. But
No, I do not.
You do,
that is so kind of you to say, but no, he is just a legend, and who he was, how he lived, how he treated people. He was an incredible athlete and human and hero to so many people. So to be mentioned in the same sentence is just ridiculous. And I have to pinch myself. To be on a wall with him is like
a big wall.
What the heck? I still go by and I'm like, wow, what an honor. And it's a beautiful mural by the incredible artist Kamehameha Schools. And I was like, I can't believe that it's still up there. I hope it's still up there when my daughter is coherent enough to actually understand that's Mom. That would be really cool.
Well, the way you describe Duke is the way a lot of people would describe you. You just have to know that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yeah. And so, when we talk about athletes, obviously triumphs, their accomplishments are listed, but you've been very, very open about your struggles with mental health. You've called yourself an overthinker. How did those challenges affect your competition, and what steps did you have to take to kind of overcome them?
I feel like a lot of the time during my competitive years, I was often the biggest obstacle. I was probably the one standing in my way a lot of the time. And it was because I overthink, I worry about the worst case scenario. I try to control way too much. And I'm a people pleaser. So I want everybody to love me or care about me or support me. And so a lot of that weighed on me and put pressure on me. Even if no one was, that's how my mind works, And so I think I wish I had this confidence inside of me that I just knew I was the best and I could go out and compete from that place. But that was never the case. I always thought that I was behind the 8 ball, which I think was a beautiful thing, because I think it constantly has pushed me. I've never been satisfied. I've never thought I was good enough. And so I think it's really pushed me to reach the heights that I have. But at the same point, I think there were times where it led to some burnout and some, sometimes when I would lose, I would spend days upset and it would leak into my personal life. And I definitely hit a rock bottom point. For me, it was a rock bottom point. And I was like, things need to change. I need to change my perspective and my approach. Otherwise, like, this is not sustainable. And this is something that I love. I love my life. I have a beautiful life. I have an incredible husband, and there's just so much to look forward to. So why am I going to focus on the things that aren't working out? So I definitely went back to the drawing board. I really brought in my sports psychologist, and we kind of like, it was it's a daily challenge. Like, we were working and talking, and I was constantly journaling, and, you know, things aren't as stressful right now, it's stressful in a different way, but I still use those tools on a daily basis because, I mean, you're always gonna have stuff. You're always gonna have things that you're worried about. So I'm very grateful for those challenging moments on tour because it's translated into how I am as a mom now. And I hope it's making me a better version of myself for my daughter.
Was it hard to, becoming like so famous at such a young age and kind of going through, your early 20s? And I don't think, people talked about mental health that much during that time, right? It's kind of like a relatively new thing that people kind of care about. Was that tough?
Yes and no. I feel like what was really cool, my dad's been my coach since I started. He was the person who pushed me into my first wave, and he's been there holding my hand every step of the way. And he always kind of kept me in a bubble. So it was like, even in high school when I was starting to do events as a wild card and results were starting to fall into place, it was never like, oh, like, here's your newspaper article, let's make it a big deal, let's put your trophies up in the house. I had my sister and my stepsisters, and there was other people in our household to celebrate. So it was never like, I don't know, we didn't put huge weight on it. And I think that helped to not put a lot of pressure on me. He kept it light, he kept it fun, he kept it focused on performance and just doing my best. But like every young woman, you go through changes. And in high school, I definitely my body started to change. I started to gain weight. I didn't exactly fit the mold of what, a surfer girl looked like at the time. I was strong, I was powerful, but I definitely had probably a few more pounds on me than, you normally saw in girls wearing a two-piece bikini. And so that was hard, unintentionally seeing and being comparing myself to other people. So different things were hard, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. And my dad was actually the one who encouraged me from that time to really just be open and own my story. And by being vulnerable, I found so much comfort in other people sharing their own stories, and so that's kind of the start of being open and honest and vulnerable, because it brings people together. It allows other people to be themselves as well. And I've tried to incorporate that too into my charitable foundation and the values that we try to share and stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about your foundation. So you started this back in 2018. Was that during a time where you kind of felt like you needed to help other young girls kind of navigate these thoughts and about ourselves?
Well, so I started my charitable foundation, honestly, I'm gonna say it was selfish because I was really struggling. Right. And by giving back and being of service to others, it's honestly, it's that number one tool for me to find my way back to myself and to reconnect to my heart and get out of my head. And so selfishly, I was really struggling, and I was I needed something to feel like I was contributing in some way. There was a purpose bigger than these surf contests that I was getting caught up in. And I knew that, in the beginning, there's a lack of opportunity for girls in the surf world. So that's where it started. And then over the years, it's really morphed into the mission of helping young women navigate these waves of mental health and wellness through sport, mentorship, culture, and community. And those are the things that have really helped me along my journey. And I'm really excited about where it's at. We hold many events throughout the year. This year, we're actually expanding to Molokai and Kauai and Maui. And yeah, those events are really fun, but we incorporate lei making and hula and surfing, and we do workshops and we talk about important themes that we're going through. So
Yeah, we've covered a bunch of your events, and talking, interviewing these young women who are participating, they get really emotional about it because it's kind of like a space that they needed that never existed before, but you're providing.
No, thank you. Thanks for saying that. I hope it is. That's my hope. I hope that girls and women can come together at our events and have a space where they feel free to be themselves, to talk about things that they're going through. And it makes my heart feel so full if one girl or woman can come up to me at the end and say, yes, that was awesome. Like, I didn't know I needed that. And I met a new friend, or I'm going to take this with me moving forward. So really, that's the goal. If it can help one person, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I know you said you're expanding to different islands. Where else would you like your foundation to go? Like, where do you see it going in the future?
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, I would love to just try to help different demographics all over the islands, especially home in Hawaii. I want to give back to the community that has given me so much and give our next generation of females that opportunity to thrive and chase their dreams. But, also spreading the aloha to the mainland and other parts of the world. I would love to see that because the world and the community that I have made traveling has really impacted me greatly. So I'd love to give back to those communities as well and extend that aloha spirit.
Maybe the More Aloha Foundation can do like a mom kind of thing now that you're a mom.
Oh my gosh.
Because you will figure out that there is a whole community.
Totally.
Yeah.
I actually, in January, before I gave birth, I did a Mommies to Be event, and I got to meet so many other beautiful moms and talk about all these things that we're going through preparing to bring our kids into the world. So that was the first time that I was like, whoa, like I think this could be something, especially postpartum.
Yes.
It can be very isolating. There's a lot that rests on our shoulders as mothers, navigating those first few months. So I would like to definitely do more events for moms, and even just mom-daughter events as well, to strengthen that bond.
Yeah, and since you have a daughter, I mean, I have a son and I love him, but I can't imagine having a daughter, just knowing what I went through as a girl, as a teen, as, an early 20s. How do you see yourself like fostering this relationship as she gets older? What if she's like, hey mom, I want to be a professional surfer one day?
Oh my gosh. I mean, that would be amazing, but I want it to be her choice. I want her to just feel so loved and so supported that she feels like she can do anything because she's not afraid to fail, because mom and dad are going to be there no matter what. And like, just her existing is a miracle. So I want her to know that. And I hope that gives her the foundation to do whatever she wants. And I think just as she grows, I want her to like feel like she can like lean on me and talk to me openly and honestly. Like if she's struggling with something, I hope she comes to me. I hope she's not like, oh gosh, I can't tell my mom because she's gonna judge me. I want her to know like, hey, judge-free zone, like let's talk about it, let's figure it out together. Even if it is really hard, like I got you. So and growing up is tricky, like we both know. And so I just want her to know, like, it's okay. Like I said, the body positivity thing was a real struggle for me. I want her to know, hey, it's normal. It's normal to for your body to change, and you're beautiful through every stage. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out as I go. But those are a few things that stood out to me, and I just want to shower her with love.
And definitely, these days with social media, that wasn't really a thing while we were growing up. You talk about body image. I mean, just having to compare yourself online with people, it's scary.
Yeah, and not just like that, but just like jobs and like success and travels and like what your life looks like knowing like, okay, what you see on social media isn't maybe exactly what's going on. Maybe that's just what people want to share. Just knowing like everybody has their own struggles and the things that they're going through. It's not just what you see, and you have your own timeline, and that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you mentioned you were getting back in the water, you're loving it. How is it now, surfing for fun rather than having to always be training for something?
It's been a very big transition for me mentally to like wrap my head around, okay, I'm just gonna go surfing and not like try to work on anything. I'm just going surfing to go surfing and just to fill my heart up. I have to say, like, now that I'm on the other side of being pregnant, like that, like, old Riss is coming back. She's like, okay, how can I like do this turn again? But it's been so beautiful because I feel like I'm starting from scratch and like falling in love with surfing all over again. Like I caught my first wave and like I'm doing my first cutback. I did my first snap and I had a wave yesterday that I did like 6 turns in a row and I was like, that felt so good. And so the joy is like, it's just different. Mm-hmm. It's so different, and I love it. I think I needed it. I think I left, the tour and took a break at exactly the time that I needed it to kind of just fall in love with surfing again and renew that passion. And so it's good. It feels super good to be back.
What are some other things you do to kind of like relax or in your spare time if it's not surfing?
I love Netflix and chilling with my hubby. We have a planned date night tomorrow night, which is our first one. So I'm super excited about that. We're gonna, I think, go to Lucky Strike and play a few games. But we love walking with the dogs. Just spending time with my husband is like one of my favorite things. Surfing with my sister. I love scrapbooking. That is a thing, I know. But I do spend a lot of my free time on fostering my charitable foundation and stuff. And that really fills my heart and makes me happy. I do love a nap if I can nap with baby girl, which is few and far between these days, but life is simple. I just want to be with my family and my friends and try to slow down as much as I can and love on other people. Those are the things that fill my heart.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned, when you would be on the tour, your dad's your coach, Luke would travel with you. But what were kind of like the costs that came with having that life? Like, were you away from other family for like important milestones or friends?
No, for sure.
Right?
I mean, the life of a professional surfer is beautiful. And like I said, I wouldn't have traded it for anything, but I have missed like so many holidays, so many birthdays. I missed my prom. There was so many social gatherings as a high schooler that I had to pass on. I left sleepovers early because I had to get up early and train. But I think that also helped me develop a work ethic and a way to, a mindset of prioritizing the things that are most important. And then, so it's a blessing and a curse at times, but I've learned so much along the way.
So has this transition to like this civilian life from professional athlete? I bet it's been really awesome.
It's so fun. It's been hard though, because I'm so used to like going and producing and doing things that it has been a challenge to just be like, okay, you don't have to do something today. You can just go surfing for fun, or you don't have to be on the road and travel. And so but I love that I can like go and have a 3-hour coffee date with my sister and just like catch up, or like for me, like that's higher on the priority list right now than like trying to like do the best turn in the water. So it's different, but it's good.
What do you see for yourself? Like, no, you don't like to call it retirement from surfing. You're calling it stepping away, taking a break. Do you see yourself maybe one day returning? And if so, is the surfing industry mom friendly?
I don't have an answer for you yet. I don't know if I can surf yet. So I think I might feel differently in a few months, but there's a part of me that still calls me back to competitive surfing. So but I don't know. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to like commit to anything or put that pressure on myself, because I feel like I still need to heal and just, like I said, figure out if I can surf. But there's parts of it that does excite me, especially as a mom, just like seeing if I can do it and showing my daughter the world in that way, and doing it as a family would be really cool. And for me, it would be less pressure, because it's like, okay, I got the world titles, I got the gold medal. I don't necessarily have to get the result, but it's just about seeing if I can do it for myself and for my family. But yeah, I don't know what that looks like quite yet.
Yeah. Well, you accomplished more than a lot of people have in like a lot of lifetimes, Carissa. So I hope you're very proud.
Thank you.
And you are Duke-ish. You know?
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. I don't deserve that, but thank you.
And we wish you the best with Olena. We can't wait to see what you do with the foundation. And, you know, we're just so proud of not only your accomplishments, but who you are as a person as well.
Thank you so much, and wish me luck for the commencement speech.
Oh, yes. It'll be
So
great. It'll
nervous.
be great. Everyone is going to, I can't wait to see what you do with that.
Thanks.
Thank you for being here.
I appreciate the conversation. It was
Of course.
awesome.
Yeah, and we want to say mahalo to our partners for this speaker series, UH, the Hawaii Community Foundation, the Learning Coalition, Kamehameha Schools. Thank you so much for making conversations like this possible. Thanks for watching.